Hello, this is Manesh Patel from Ichimoku Today is November 17, 2014. This is our bi-weekly Ichimoku analysis for the currency/forex market. We're a little 1 week late due to the money show in London. It's just a little difficult doing these videos while traveling. Anyways, this is our normal disclaimer to state this is for education use only. We're not soliciting you to buy or sell any particular instrument. If you do so, you're doing that at your own risk. All the charts you're going to see basically from TradeStation today. Here are our contact details here, where you can call us at any of our office locations here, or you could basically email us here at info@eiicapital.com, or you could contact us at our website here at ichimokutrade.com, where we have a lot of free videos, multiple time frame email alerts, scanners, and various other trading tools out there. Okay. So let's go straight to TradeStation and start looking at currencies. Remember, on the left hand side is basically the daily time frame. On the right hand side is basically the weekly time frame. Okay, and what we did was we concentrated on the weekly support resistances, which are mapped out on the daily, so you could see exactly where they're at. If you look at Australian CAD, this is basically not really doing anything right now. It's kind of stuck between a support at 97.56 and 99.55, and that's the two areas that support is stuck at. If it could break the support here, it's actually going to sit there, come down here, and slowly start trickling down to a point it could start a bearish trend if it could get down to this level at 9,400 and break it. The daily is very bearish, so all it needs is to do is to break that support, and this thing could start trickling down. Okay, so that shows you the Australian currency is kind of weak in that one. Australian yen, you know the way yen pairs, the majority of them pretty much have gone weak. So a lot of the pairs against yen are strong right now. You can see Australian yen basically broke out of resistance at 98.23. It's approaching our resistance level of 102.15 is the first one, which is the major one. We're kind of expecting it to get to 102.15 and then doing a pullback, possibly to either 99.98 or 98.23 right now, but you really don't know. We just got to wait for a couple of weeks to kind of see exactly where the pullback level is going to happen once it does get to its major resistance. Australian Switzy here, really not doing anything at all. Bearish trend here. It's going for a major pullback. It's kind of stuck between the support resistance too right now. The support is going to be 83.41. Sorry, 83.41, and the resistance is going to be 84.61. This is bearish, believe it or not, more nature right now, even though it looks ugly. If it could sit there and break this major support at 82.38, it could actually start a nice little trend downwards on the daily time frame, which would retest this low here at 7,800, or even fall short of it close to 8,000. So we're kind of still tilting towards the bearish side here until we break the support here at 84.66. Australia, New Zealand, if you look at here, again, this is Australian pair. As you notice, Australian pair is kind of weak against all the currencies except the yen. Australia, New Zealand here, you can see here, nice bearish trending here, did a major pullback to 1293, held that resistance level, and now it's basically coming down to this resistance support level at 959. So we're basically bearish till we get to this level, and at that point we're going to look at the charts, but most likely this will be bearish too, to a point break it and to retest the low here. So we're looking at long term to retesting these lows down here, but in the short term we're looking to play it to basically 959 and then kind of see exactly what the charts look like when we get to that support level. Australian USD, as you know, the dollar's strong and the Australian currency has been weak compared to the others, so this is bearish trending to the downside. However, it's starting to consolidate a little here because it's got to its major support 85.58, and now we want to see exactly what's going to happen here. Major resistance on the weekly is going to be 90.16, and if you look at it from the daily perspective, it's going to be around basically about 8,800. CAD Switzy. Here, this is bearish trending on the weekly time frame. Finally going for a major pullback. Our major pullback resistance level is 86.75. We haven't quite got there yet. That's the major one. The minor resistance level, which you could pretty much hold there and then start going down, is going to be 85.29. The natural trend is still bearish, but we're just waiting for this bullish pullback to kind of finish on the weekly time frame and wait for it to resume to the downside. Major support it has to break to start to retest the low on the weekly time frame, start a bearish trend on the daily is going to be 82.96. Next is going to be CAD yen. As you can see, this is basically blown for the roof here, basically below the resistance at 100.47. It's now slowly getting to our target, which is 105.34. Switzerland yen, if you look here, broke the resistance at 117.61 and going to actually just got to our target at 121.51, and if it breaks that, it's going to continue on to 123.32. If you notice, a lot of the yen pairs that basically broke the resistance, still going higher. If you missed it, you have to wait for a pullback now to occur before you could sit there and enter any long-term positions. Of course, on the day trading positions, if you have a multiple time frame match, you could always do pullback orders and so forth. Euro Australian here, nice bullish trend here, did a major pullback, held the support at basically at 4,000, which is down here, and now it's trying to get up to this resistance level of 48.09, but it's having a very hard time. It's basically stuck in a range right now, 42.50 and 44.05. If it breaks the resistance, we got a high probability coming here. If it breaks the support, believe it or not, we're going to come down here, retest this low, and probably consolidate a little till it breaks it to start a bearish trend. So it's very critical to see exactly which way we're going to break on these support resistances here. EuroCAD, bullish trending here, did a major pullback. Support on the major pullback is going to be 40.54. If it breaks that, then this is basically going to start a trend to the downside. In order to sit there and start resuming to come up here, it needs to sit there and start breaking these resistance levels. The first one's going to be 43.22. Next one's going to be 44.57. Euro Switzerland basically is bearish trending on the, both the daily and weekly. It's getting to our support basic, which is 2002. Euro DKK, you can see this big little spike here. This is bearish trending. We've been talking about this being bearish. It got to our first support, which is basically 43.27. Next minor one's going to be 43.10. Kind of got to that first one, spiked up, got to a resistance, and kind of holding around this resistance here, which is roughly around 44.24. This week's going to be very critical to see exactly what happens with the Euro DKK. If it starts to move up anymore, it's basically, it may sit there, it'll get to this 44.80 level, and then it's going to be key decision time on what's going to happen. If this is to continue to remain bearish and strong, it's got to hold this resistance level right now and not go any higher this week. Euro pound, this is basically bearish trending on the weekly time frame, very ugly on the daily time frame right now, but you could see here it's basically consolidating a little now, where the top of the consolidation pattern is basically 8,008. Minor support right now is going to be 79.14, and the bottom of the consolidation pattern, of course, is going to be close to our target, which was what we're trying to shoot for, which is 77.54, which you kind of did sit there, didn't quite make it all the way down there. Euro yen, before you look at it, is going to be bullish, but notice on this one, it's gotten to our resistance level already. This is not making new highs compared to all the other Switzy pairs. This is actually just got to resistance at 144, 145.63. So this is probably the weakest of the yen pairs if you look at it, because it hasn't broken the resistance and making new all-time highs. Euro NUC here, this is consolidating between 1179 and basically 49.85. However, that little spike up here, which is a little shakeout for us, and basically if it sits there and breaks the support, it is 37.61. This definitely will be bearish due to that shakeout that occurred there. So if it breaks this here and goes below, basically this will be bearish, coming all the way down to 1179. If it closes above this level here, then we do have a high probability of retesting the high of that shakeout bar. Euro New Zealand here, just one ugly consolidation pattern, held the resistance at 61.75, and now slowly trying to trickle down to the bottom of these two supports here. Really nothing going on. We have to wait and see exactly what it wants to do, but this is slowly trickling downwards. If you look at it from the monthly perspective, it's an ugly consolidation pattern, but it's bearish in that nature. Euro SEK, really not doing anything. This is bullish trending on the weekly, which a lot of consolidation pattern up here and a lot of volatility with little spikes here. So it's basically looks very ugly on the daily. However, this is still bullish, believe it or not. It's just been consolidating for the last couple of months around here. The bottom is basically 690. The top of the consolidation pattern is 2611, with a lot of hiccups around those support resistances. Euro USD, basically bearish trending on both the daily and weekly. It's got to our first support, which is 23.56. Next one's going to be 22.50. Daily still very strong to a point. It still can possibly get to 22.50 as long as it holds a resistance at 26.21. Pound Australian, if you look at it here, this was bullish trending, decided to consolidate here now. This is the consolidation pattern that's occurring. The miniature consolidation pattern is 79.11, and which is the support, and the top is basically going to be 86.48. Pound Switzy, this is bullish trending ugly. It still has not gone for a pullback yet after it started this nice little run up here, which is being ugly, being consolidating here at the top, which is basically the top is 54.75 is the resistance. Support is going to basically be 49.55. Pound yen, of course, you could see is basically is bullish. Broke the resistance at 180 and still going higher. Support on this guys right now is 175.23. Pound New Zealand, if you look at it here, this was bullish, didn't sit there and hold the support at all at 209, broke it to a point, killed any bullish nature this guy had at all, and now the next support is going to be 96.53, resistance in this guy is going to be 664. And pound USD, you could see, so the pound you could see is being pretty much getting hammered. It's showing a lot of signs of weaknesses at all. So you could see that basically the dollar's strong, the yen's weak, Australian basically is being weak, the pound's being weak, euro's kind of in flux right now, and CAD you could see CAD is strong against everything. CAD Switzy was basically bearish, so CAD's a little weak too. Okay, pound USD, it's getting to our support. Actually, got to our support at 55.99. At that point, we're looking to see exactly what's going to happen. At this point, it's still bearish. This is not bottom picking at all. There's no weakness we see at all. Let's go look at the New Zealand pairs now. If you look at New Zealand CAD here, bullish trending here, did a major pullback here, sat there and held the support at 86.15. Now it's trying to sit there and start going higher. It held the support, minor support now at 8,800, and it's trying to sit there and get to 9,100. So we are bullish on the New Zealand CAD as long as that support holds. New Zealand Switzy, this is just one ugly pattern right now. Support on this one's going to be 74.01. Minor resistance is going to be 76.20, and a major one's going to be 77.56. Yeah, Euro New Zealand, of course, basically is bullish. Got to our first level of resistance that we mapped out, 91.85. Next one's going to be 93.33. Still very strong to a point it could do that. It may go for a pullback before it does that. New Zealand USD here, this you could see this is basically bearish on this side. You can see it basically got to our support here. So this is stopping this nice big bearish trend on basically the weekly time frame. It's got to break this guy in order to sit there and continue to go lower. So 77.10 is a major support level for the New Zealand USD, and you could see the resistance here is going to be 80.40. You could see a lot of the US pairs are basically at a support resistance, so it's kind of a do or die with a lot of the US pairs, and you could notice that it all happened with the US future also at a major resistance too. So it's interesting to see the timing. In Singapore yen, we've been bullish, and you could see here we've been bullish since 83.29 when the pullback. This basically it's got to the nice even number of 90, and it's very strong to a point. It's still it's going to be strong going forward for a while now. US CAD here basically broke the resistance at 12.74. Still very strong here. As long as it holds the support here, it could continue to keep on going higher. US Switzy, you could see it's at a major resistance at 96.61. At that point, it kind of needs a pullback now. You could kind of see the weakness here on the daily time frame. USD KK hit basically a resistance here at 164. The minor one's going to be 94.13. It needs a pullback too, and you could kind of see it weakening here on the daily time frame too. USD Hong Kong, this is just one ugly chart here. Bounced off the support at 75.01, came all the way to the resistance at 76.65, bounced off there, and looks like it's trying to come back to the support here. So the miniature consolidation pattern is 75.01 and 75.78. US yen is still very strong, can still continue to keep on going. I wouldn't be surprised if it does get to 120 before the end of the year, or by February of next year. US NOK still bullish trending here. You could see here there's nothing really going on there. US SEK basically hit a major resistance at 44.59. And then lastly, US Singapore, it's at a major resistance to 29.61. So if you summarize everything from the currency perspective, Australian is showing a lot of weakness compared to a lot of pairs. So is the CAD, so is the pound, and the yen too. So right now, dollar's still very strong going forward. Yen is still very weak compared to a lot of the pairs, and the dollar and the yen are pretty much controlling a lot of currencies out there. So that's pretty much it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys in 2 weeks.